Are you ready for our real thoughts today?
Gee, Nostalgia Critic, what are we gonna do tonight?
This one will probably, nobody will care about you much, but they're gonna really hate me for it. Even though I know you don't like this movie. Let's talk about the Flintstones movie.
Yabba dabba don't.
I should have looked up who directed this, because it's one of those doofuses that either does, like, Smurfs or, like, Alvin and the Chipmunks or Beverly Hills Chihuahua. It's like one of those jokers that did this movie. And,
I love how, we're always so mean, but at the same time...
we make crap, too.
But no, at the same time, I get the impression that some of these guys that end up in those type of movies are literally just doing it for a paycheck. It's like B-movie directors. It's just like, they wrote me a check, I direct it. I don't care how shitty the script is. Because let's be honest, it's not, like, one of the problems with the Flintstones is not even a good script to begin with.
No,
I'm not really
like 30 writers
fucking
on
Stanley
it, like
Kubrick's
that?
not going to be able to fucking save the Flintstones. Like, yeah, so...
Well, and I think what's going to get people really ragging on me, because when I did the review of it, I said I didn't like the Flintstones cartoon. People just flipped. They just went insane, like, how dare you, sir? And it's like, I don't despise it. It's just nothing to me.
We were Jetsons fans.
I do like the Jetsons better.
Actually,
but that's not good.
Jetsons better too.
But I'm not gonna say that's a good cartoon either. It's just like, I guess pick your really non-effective poison. It's just kind of bland. But
Listen,
I appreciate what it did.
Can we all
I appreciate we got
agree-
animation in prime time, in sitcoms, every week, and that's amazing, and
Yes.
that deserves a lot of credit.
And can we all agree that Gazoo was the highlight of the series? That's right, dum-dums.
Played by the infamous Alan Cumming in Viva Rock Vegas. I still haven't seen that one yet, by the way. That's probably one we might have to do down the line, because I hear it's very bad. But, yeah, so here's the thing about this Flintstones movie, because even as a kid, I just didn't really care that much about the Flintstones. I don't hate it, I just didn't get into it.
Okay, you know what I watched the Flintstones for?
The animals, the weird inventions, right?
Yes.
That was cool.
I always love the wanton animal cruelty on that show. It's like, we're gonna make a pelican a garbage disposal, or a dinosaur do this. I'm just like, wow. What an awful... It's like that Rick and Morty bit where it's just like he creates that little robot and it's just like, what is my mission in life? To pass butter. And then later asks, what is my mission? I told you, to pass butter. And he looks down at his hands and he's like, oh my god.
Yeah, welcome to the club, pal.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what it's gotta be for these poor animals. Like, this is literally my lot in life, to sit under the sink and eat garbage, to wash people's dishes, it's... When you think about it, like, rationally, it is one of the darkest, most horrific things ever put on fucking television. But The Simpsons did it best when that's where the pelican came from. Yeah, he's using the pelican as a cement mixer. He's like, Marge, if there's anything that the Flintstones has taught us, is that animals can be used in hilarious ways to, do remedial tasks. It's like, he's got, like, cement in this pelican's poor mouth, and it's sitting there like, oh.
He's like, come on, say something like, it's a living, and it just falls over dead.
And that to me sums up the Flintstones. I'm just like, when you look at it that way, the show's fucking hilarious. I will say this, as a kid, I honestly like Gazoo because I was a child. Like, you could sit there and
so I like the alien.
how dare you? But I'm like fucking 5. Like, what 5-year-old wouldn't? But I think I was in it just for Barney Rubble. Like, Barney was my favorite character. I found him amusing, but wasn't in it for Pebbles or Bam Bam or the eventual Pebbles Bam Bam wedding, which ran in prime time.
Wait, they married each other? What?
You don't remember that? Well, I was okay. I once
for a second I thought they were brother and sister, but you're right, they're just neighbors.
Oh god, no. This isn't Star Wars, dude.
Twincest.
No, like...
No, because that's right.
1990. I want to say
it was 1990?
I want to say it was like 1990.
I thought we were talking about the 70s thing, where it's like the Pebbles and Bam Bam show, and they're like teenagers or college students or something. You remember that? And they had the 70s jam going. Oh my god. This is just remembering all the stupid stuff associated with Flintstones.
Maybe it was a rerun, but no, I remember it was like I remember it was like 1990 or something.
Was Kazoo the priest?
That would have been awesome. I was pissed.
I had to Dum Dum and Wave.
I was pissed because I never liked Pebbles and Bam Bam to begin with, and I was a huge fan at the time because I was fucking 10 years old of America's Funniest Home Videos, and they're like, we're sorry, America's Funniest Home Videos will be interrupted tonight so we can give you the Pebbles. the
royal wedding of the year.
I'm serious. This is how they fucking announced it. I'm not making this up. This happened. You can maybe find a promo for it somewhere on YouTube. It's like, America's Funniest Home Videos will be interrupted tonight because we need to bring you the Pebbles and Bam Bam wedding. And now let us join the ceremony. It was like Princess Di getting fucking married, and so I still remember to this day because I was a kid and I was so pissed off and I was just like, why would they do this? And I just remember our dad being like, well, apparently enough people really want to see Pebbles and Bam, as only our dad could say with his dry sense of humor. So I remember that. That's the stupid shit the Flintstones
Bottom line, all of this is still more interesting than Flintstones the movie.
So Gazoo, Barney, and wanton animal cruelty is what I was into the show for. Actually, like, what was that order? The order of the water buffalo or the what?
I don't know.
I actually like that group as well.
I actually had to be reminded of that in the movie because I was like, who are these guys? This is how you remember.
Maybe I actually like the show more than I remember. But I also remember the show to me.
Watch it again.
Well, as a kid, I remember the show being just kind of boring to me because
it's just dull.
It's just like for a kid, it's just kind of like an older sitcom.
But I get it. I get the time period. I get that it's harmless, it's innocent, and it really changed a lot in terms of TV animation.
I'm just amazed
was very clever
that they were animating it before a live studio audience.
That laugh track the whole time, yeah.
30, 40 years before Simpsons, just did it a week ago or whatever.
Well, they got rid of the audience then because, it's like we're all moving. Yeah. They want to move past the sitcom, but, they had the traditional route of just always
the ability to do that.
And Scooby-Doo.
The strain on the animator's wrists, as Simpsons would say.
That killed me the most. I know we should talk about the movie, but with the laugh track, even when I was a kid, even when I was a kid, and he'd just say like "Yabba Dabba Doo," and the audience would laugh. Even as a kid, I'm like, how can that make a whole audience laugh? He just said the thing he always says, and it's not even in reference to anything comedic. There is nothing funny about this, and like Pebbles just go, ha 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 ha. Why is that funny? Bam bam. Ha 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 ha. Why is that funny? Even the jokes that aren't funny, I get why there's an audience laugh, but why is that funny? It always drove me nuts because it's like they're trying to really maintain the illusion that a studio audience is watching this and laughing at it. I'm like, I just can't. I can't Flintstones. I can't Scooby-Doo. That's why I like the Jetsons. They never did that.
Dig that grave. Dig that grave. Dig.
The Jetsons are in the future, so that audience hasn't been born yet.
They're gonna hit China soon, pal.
All right, but let's talk about this.
They love Flintstones in China.
Let's finally talk about this movie. This movie was hyped as hell when it came out.
It was.
It had a trailer before Jurassic Park. I remember it was actually a very clever trailer because all it was showing.
If you want
was
a trailer before any movie in the early 90s, I can't. Really, that was it. Like, Jurassic Park was like the biggest fucking movie of the first part of that decade.
And it says, your favorite family's coming to big screen, and you just see this little pebble going across the layer of Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, and they just do the whole song, and that's it. But then at the very end, because we're all thinking it's going to be a cartoon, because that's what they still did back then. They had a Jetsons movie and such, and suddenly this realistic hand catches it, and you see John Goodman go, yabba dabba doo. The audience howls. I mean, they're like, that's really like we're friggin' doing this, but in kind of a fun, good way. Like, this could actually be really funny.
It was like that scene in 2001 with the monkeys.
I mean, just like everyone just went nuts, and I was laughing. I'm like, and I didn't care for Flintstones, but I'm like,
you were also like
funny.
11.
I know. So
our sense of humor was not at its peak.
So, and then the other trailers were coming out, and it looked okay. I mean, it looked like imaginative and visual. This is when CG was really catching on. And, we just saw the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, and I see Dino running around, but it was still a mix of it, too. It's like, okay, this could be kind of fun. And then when it came out...
too, that it's a cartoon... It is still kind of a cartoon world, so you don't have to make Dino look really realistic.
Yeah.
It can be cartoony.
So this movie comes out, and I like, I think the only other movie at the time that got slammed as hard was, like, Coneheads, which was a little unfair.
The better movie.
A little unfairly slammed, in my opinion. But I'm not gonna act like it's good. It just didn't deserve.
It's a one-joke movie, but at least it was a joke.
Yeah. and Flintstones was just getting, like, destroyed by every critic. And the big thing that they were saying is that this movie apparently had 30 writers, which nowadays is like every film. They're just not credited. I mean, you hand something to write this line. I need a funny line here. I mean, we've talked to writers before, and they'll just do that, and they don't really get the main writing credit. Like, maybe somewhere in that million other credits, they'll get, like, story, editor, side note, whatever, when really they
But Gremlins 2, a year and a half earlier, got better reviews, so it's obvious that the critics were being paid off by Chuck Jones's contingents yeah.
But yeah, this movie sucks. It's not very good.
It's no conspiracy. The critics weren't paid off
and here's
like we believe nowadays.
I want to get your opinion, because this is something like when we were watching it, the production design, we couldn't figure out if it was brilliant or awful, because it looked like a place at Universal Studios, like a theme park. But it also kind of looked like the cartoon, too. Like, none of it looked that much like rock. It kind of looked plastic, but it was also bright and colorful, but it was also kind of dirty and dusty, and we couldn't get a grasp on, does this really work, or is this just the exact opposite of what it's supposed to be?
It had the same problem Hook had. But Hook, in my opinion, actually pulled it off, which is, if you watch Hook, it's painfully obvious it's a set. Like, I mean, in a certain way, it's like, it's not a fantasy land. You're on a movie set. It's really obvious it's a movie set.
But the set's amazing.
But A, the set's amazing, and B, there was something about the way they did it that it kind of worked. It was its own thing. In the Flintstones, it was the same idea. It's like, this is obvious, this is a movie set, but I could never suspend my disbelief that extra step necessary. Like, it just, I think you put it best. It looked like a theme park attraction. Like, you could see the robots and the animatronics and I felt like I was waiting in line for, the Flintstones ride at Universal Studios.
You know what would have helped it the more I think about it? Because when I think of that movie, I think of, like, a lot of brown and yellow, and even, like, the purples and blues of the rocks and stuff are sort of shrouded by that brown and yellow. And I know the show kind of was, too, but what if they had, you have the brown, you have the yellow, but you have a really blue sky against it. The color, of the... It seems like there's no contrast in the colors.
The color scheme, from what I remember of the show, was these bright characters in the foreground. You've got the orange, and then it wasn't brown. It was white. It was like stone gray white
of the
houses. I remember some, but I always remember like the stone gray of the houses and I don't know.
The characters
I remember a lot of white and
they did kind of pop in it.
But that is, but here's the thing. We're talking about a show that was made on the cheap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you can do anything you want now because you've got the budget, and I mean, clearly this movie had the budget.
Yeah, it looks like an expensive movie.
So much so that I think they only made the sequels just to get their money's worth out.
Maybe.
Well, we already have this shit lying around. I don't know. I just feel like it could have been more colorful. I felt like the movie was strangely monochromatic, which is weird for something based on a cartoon show.
Yeah.
But
with, this whole thing, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a right way and a wrong way to do nostalgia. Like, the right way is kind of like referencing, hey, you remember this, but we're going to sort of take it to, like, the next level, too, or we're going to kind of make fun of it, or we're going to bring something out of that nostalgia that is either new and you love, or something that was like, this is the best part of the nostalgia, and we're going to really focus on that.
The Brady Bunch movie did that.
Yeah.
I thought it was more successful at being like, okay, well, we're going to be respectful to a certain degree, but we're also going to poke fun at this and be like, no, this is pretty simple.
Or another great example, we've referenced this a lot, the Lego movie. I mean, the
Lego movie was great.
What was the
that should be
focus
the
of
gold
that?
standard.
What was the focus of that? They were like, yeah, it's Legos, it's nostalgia, we get it, but they focused on the creativity and imagination that everybody has with Legos, and the heart, and that you want to play with these, and childhood, obviously with the ending and the connection that they have. They're like, that's the stuff you want to think of when you think of Legos, and that's the strongest
Here's my problem,
stuff.
Though, and now they can all thump on me. I'll play shield here for you for a second. What was the heart of the Flintstones? It's like we're talking about, like, the things that make Legos so great. What?
To be honeymooners with cavemen.
Yeah. Audience. What was what was the heart and soul of the Flintstones? What did the movie miss? See, that's the problem. I'm like, what do I'm sitting here trying to think. It's like, well, if I were going to do a Flintstone movie that captured the essence of the Flintstones, what would I do? And I'm like, I can't think of anything.
No,
it's kind of a one joke.
You can, but it would be very difficult. I think the focus should
guess he loved his wife.
Yeah, no, honestly, that would be the focus.
I guess, you know what?
It is the honeymooners.
What made the honeymooners work? That's what we need to go with.
Yeah.
What made the honeymooners work?
And
they were cantankerous, they had crazy neighbors, but you know what? He really loved his wife. Okay, so we'll go with that. Instead, Fred gets a bunch of people fired. Huh?
It's more about Fred and Barney's connection in that movie, and even that's not very good.
Fine, but that should be 50% of it, not 100%. And even then, it's like their friendship breaks up, and the whole... I didn't get the whole plot with him. I don't want to see Fred become some, like, vice president.
Turn into a jerk, and he's full of himself.
Who watched the cartoon show for that? Wow, maybe we are finding the heart and soul.
Maybe we are.
Maybe this show was deeper than we thought. Admit it!
And this was at a time, too, when all the movies, like all the comedies that were kind of family-friendly were like, not even that, just all comedies, some asshole in a suit has some sort of plan that either involves getting everybody fired or a microchip.
And in this case, it's the Quizette Hatterack.
Yeah, it's the Dune guy.
Paul Atreides.
And, you know, they use the main character as some sort of sucker to bring in. So he can be silly, but he has a heart of gold, so he's the hero and you root for him. The other guy's clearly smarter, but he doesn't have a heart, so you don't like him. And they just use that over and over and over and over. And, yeah, I think it took away from what little you could do with this sort of setup, but you could still potentially, which is focus on, you know, the family, the husband and wife, kind of the goofy neighbors, and just kind of have fun with that. But instead, it's like, hey, remember this scene where they went bowling and he's on his tippy toes? We did that. Yeah, and what else? It's like, no, that's the joke. Like, that's the entire punchline.
What works in a cartoon, like, that scene just was painful to me, because I'm like, this isn't funny when you see John Goodman and some special effects. It works in the cartoon because that's what cartoons do. They exaggerate things. It's like here it's just creepy and awkward when John Goodman does it.
What you said with the Brady Bunch movie, that works because they're satirizing and because it was so removed from reality that they put it in reality. That's why that worked. They put it in reality. This one is in their strange reality, but they don't push it that next step. They just do what the cartoon did and stop. You know, but we can watch the cartoon. I don't even want to watch the cartoon. I want to watch the honeymooners.
But we've got Elizabeth Taylor.
Yay.
Seriously, I want to know what the IRS had on her. I want that blackmail file.
It's not like she was doing much at the time anyway, but it's like, all the things for her to do, like, why the Flintstones
We're going to throw you in the Flintstones movie. What did they have?
For all we know, maybe she really was Wilma's mother in the cartoon show because she was around. She could have been. That was very, very strange.
Yeah.
And then even some of the choices, like Goodman, that's a fine Fred.
Goodman was actually perfect.
Yeah,
I have no complaints.
Rick Moranis, a surprisingly good Barney.
Yeah, would not have been my first choice, but actually it works.
Definitely not appearance-wise. I was not as anti-Rosie O'Donnell as Betty, even though it's like, yeah, that looks nothing like Betty at all. But it's like, she had the laugh, it was a little exaggerated, but it's fine.
It worked.
The woman who played Wilma, whoever that is, sorry. She was fine. It's like, all the actors
Well, they traded her
fine.
up with, what's her face from Third Rock from the Sun?
Yeah,
Johnson, they switched it out.
I'm forgetting her name, but yeah, from Sally from Third Rock.
Yeah.
Well, they switched them all out for that. But yeah, it's something where it's like the actors couldn't bring something to this that can make it work because it's like, just what do you have to work with? And would they even let them work with it?
My biggest problem with the movie was just, we were saying it when we were watching it, I'm just bored.
Yeah.
I guess
in some respects it got the show.
Yeah, you know what? But even as a kid, okay, Flintstones to me was one of the more boring cartoons I watched, but that still had things that I enjoyed as a kid, and you know what? It's easier to tolerate in a 24-minute format.
Yeah.
You bore me for 2 hours. That movie felt, I don't forget how long it actually is, but that movie felt long.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. I do say to myself, like, let's say Fred and Wilma in the show for some reason had marital problems and they broke up. like, okay, I'm not a fan of the show, but I would kind of be like, oh, like that's kind of a bummer. That sucks. Like, it had a little bit of that heart that it's like, okay, I can see them as a couple. I can see them existing. They're just not very interesting. If they split up in the movie, who would give a shit? Nobody would care if they split up. I think what that kind of what it was about. They almost
that was my problem with the movie. I didn't give a shit about anything that happened. Like, it was literally just like a paint-by-numbers script, and it's not like I'm not going into Flintstones being like, ooh, I'm gonna be surprised. But at the same time, it was just so dull in the way they did it that it's like, okay, not only am I not gonna be surprised because it's a paint-by-numbers script, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not invested in any of these characters, and I will say this with a cartoon, like, I was invested in the characters, and it's a crime, really, because I'm glad John Goodman has managed to survive
after Roseanne and everything.
Yeah, multiple times. I feel like he comes back, disappears, but he's managed to survive and make a place for himself because I think John Goodman is one of the best actors out there. And so I'm glad for him. Rick Moranis, he retired, but I feel like everybody involved, it was a crime against their acting skills. Like, the movie just did them no favors, gave them nothing to work with. And I could see John Goodman trying. That's the tragedy. It's like, he's trying, but you can almost see the look on his eyes like, I can't do anything with this.
Yeah, all of them. It's like, I just, what I have to work with, yabba dabba do. They usually put in an audience laughing here. I'm just hoping the theater's going to do the same thing. Yabba dabba. Scribble, scrabble, crabble. That'll be the third film that they make. That'll be the catchphrase. Yeah, trying to think what else. If there were any laughs in the movie, two scenes that got a laugh out of me. And actually, this is an example of pushing it to the next step. There's a scene where a bird is, clomping on the little stone tickets when people are going in. And he turns to the camera. We all know what's coming. So I'm like, oh, it's a living or something. He turns to the camera and says, this job sucks. It's like, that's funny. That's taking the joke we all know and pushing it to the next level.
No, I would have just had him say, kill me.
Yeah, if we were right, we do that. But they're like, kids, whatever. So it's like,
every moment I exist is agony. And then either that or just, why are you doing this?
And then the other scene, I think, again, this is actually kind of to the acting, is when they're about to hang Barney and Fred. But Barney has a job as like a snow cone guy, and when they're about to hang him, they're still paying for the snow cones. He's like, can I get you? I can't break a 20. Please don't kill me, please. I gotta get fired. Oh no, I don't have change for that. Please. It's like, that was a little funny. He just kept it going.
I don't even remember that. That shows you how much.
No, like that was a little funny, but like, yeah, I can't remember anything else getting a laugh or anything like that. And I guess like if you got little kids and they're like, I want to see the Flintstones movie, like, it's fine, it's harmless. I can't think of anything that was just like, oh wow, that's awful, like that's really gonna mess them up. I mean, it's just,
as a child, I honestly enjoyed the Jetsons cartoon movie they came out with in like 89.
I wonder if that still holds up, because people have been asking me to review that. I'm just like, I'm sure it's being okay.
I'm sure it's not great, but it like.
It's a cartoon.
It had bright colors and diverted my attention for 2 hours. Yeah. That's like really all it needed to accomplish. Like,
I just remember the skeletons
couldn't even do that.
I just remember the skeletons of those little gizmos all around, and it's like just afterwards, I'm like, oh my god, this was like mass genocide in the Jetsons movie.
Played out like a weird Star Trek episode.
A little bit,
like, we're destroying the environment, this planet, this. I don't know, but. As I said, it's like all it needed to do was just distract me for 2 hours. It did a better job of that than the Flintstones.
There's something to like the Jetsons. Well, the Jetsons the movie did have a much better moral, I remember. It was more bright and colorful, and you could just tell this is for like little kids. I was a little kid when I saw it. It's fine. It's like the Care Bears movies or whatever. It's like, look, this is for little kids. We get it. We can make fun of it and stuff. It's just for little kids.
The Flintstones problem was it aimed higher.
Yeah, kind of.
Sometimes when you aim higher, you fall longer. Farther. That's it. You fall farther.
You reached too high on that statement.
I did. See, that was... No, see, I was demonstrating what
it.
happens when you aim too high. Particularly with metaphors.
Yeah, I think it's because it was a PG movie. It's again, back when that kind of meant something. They were obviously trying to get like a grown-up demographic as well. They're trying to make it a little bit more adult in the advertising and the production and everything, but they missed what was going to make this adult and instead made not even that interesting a kids movie. So yeah, just kind of a dull, boring flick. If you like it, fine.
He hates Flintstones. He hates the movie. He hates you for liking it. He hates you. Send all hate mail to Doug Walker.
But remember, he hated it a little bit too earlier. Actually, you hate it too. What am I talking about?
You know what? Just copy me on
Crucify
the hate
us. Wait.
Copy me on the hate mail.
Crucify us on the bedrock.
I'm used to it.
Little pterodactyls and like, I don't know, what did they use for nails back then? Just more rocks? Smaller rock pebbles. Crucify us on pebbles with pterodactyl hammers.
Why don't they just hit us with a rock?
As long as there's a laugh track after it, I think it'd be okay.
Thud.
Actually, I would laugh at that. If I saw Doug Walker getting stoned to death on Flintstones, I would laugh hard.